Hey everyone, this is Joey G with Touch of the Brush Model Weathering, and in this video I'm going to show you how I weather the underbody of a freight car. Now what we have here is a lumber flat, and what I'm going to do with this one is we're going to really dirty it up. And so what's great about having a beautiful detailed model like these Walthers Mainline not center beams, but these lumber flats, is that you can do a lot of nice weathering work when it comes to the added detail on these models. So I already sealed this model with the Tester's dull coat, and so we're going to go ahead, and what I'm going to do is do a dry brushing of the black as well as the earth brown Anita's acrylics, and we're going to mix these together. Alright, so I got myself a little piece of paper here. I'm going to take the paintbrush that I have, and this one here actually. I'm going to dry it up a bit here. Supposed to dry it up earlier and I forgot actually. But we're going to take this one and we're going to take a little bit of the black as well as the brown, and we're going to just move right along until we have pretty much a dry base. And this is great because you don't have to use weathering powders, especially that some of them can be very expensive, and so if you're on a budget, this is a great technique to use. And so you can see here I'm just swirling around all different kinds of until it gets fairly dry. You don't want it too wet. So once you get to a good consistency here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to weather this up. And so I start off with the pistons as well as the pipe rigging along with the brake rigging. Now you can airbrush this, or even you can use probably a camouflage spray paint from Rust-Oleum if you want just a solid coat, but that would be just one solid coat of the same paint. This one we're going to layer it up a bit here. This one's actually a little wetter than I want, but that's okay. We're just going to add layers upon layers on this. Now you ask me, why would you do the underbody? Well, why not? The whole car is getting done, right? Might as well do the underbody too. Now, there's certain instances where you don't have to do the underbody of a freight car. You know, I mean, how many people actually see it? But, you know, if you have a shoreline layout or a very small setup and your strength is in the detail rather than the size of a layout, then go into the detail. Do all that detail to make your freight cars and your locomotives and buildings to look really, really, really detailed. Because it actually makes it pop out more when you have a smaller layout with a lot of detail rather than a large layout with minimal detail. And actually sometimes you can put too much detail and it can ruin it. That's why I love Alan McLennan's approach, meaning good enough. And good enough means you don't have to go super, super crazy with your detail work, because otherwise you're missing out on having a good time running trains, unless that's what you want to do. I mean, everybody has their own strengths and their own likeness and hobby or what they enjoy doing. So we're going to go here into the body of the car here, the underbody here. Now, I don't know if anybody's actually seen underneath a freight car. Me working on a railroad, I've seen plenty underneath, and it is dirty. So don't be afraid to overdo it. And it doesn't really matter how much paint you use or what looks realistic. Let me tell you something, there's no such thing as realistic. Everything does look realistic. I've seen scribbles on freight cars and I go, okay, well, looks like a 4-year-old did that kind of weathering work, you know. And then you get the community going, hey, that's not realistic at all. Let me tell you something, I've seen it on the freight cars, realistic to me. It's all a matter of opinion, really. And it's your model, do what you want with it. So you can see the beginning stages here. It's fairly light. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to go inside here, and then we're going to move on to the sides of the car, underneath here. Okay, so here's what the underside looks like now. Now we're going to do the sides underneath here, inside here. And what I'm going to do is actually add a little more black. There's a little more of that brown base. We're going to add more black to this. And then we're going to add some weathering powders after I seal the paint. You want to seal the paint before you start the weathering powders. Not all the time, but in this circumstance, that's what we're going to do here. So add a little bit of black in here. And we're going to go a little thicker than what we did, because this is something that you will see. And also, it does get really dirty out in here. So we're going to go in there. That part's already done. And then I can just get a little more paint, actually. Yeah, there we go. And there's no rush to do stuff like this. Just take your time in doing it. And if the paint is not holding, or you seem like it's slipping and it's not really staying, or sticking rather, then you may add a little more dull coat. Or if you haven't added dull coat, definitely add it. Gives you a nice base to work off of. It works really. It's a good little technique there. We're gonna add a little more in there. I want to add a little more brown right here, actually, since some left on the brush. Okay. We're going to go back with weathering powders, and we're going to dirty up even more. We're going to layer it with weathering powders. Let's see, I don't think it's like sticking too well. I think maybe I need to add a little more dull coat to it. But we're gonna dry this and seal it anyway, and we'll just add some dull coat to it, and then weathering powders. Also, it depends on the plastic that is used for the mold itself. Sometimes some of these plastics have a great base to work off of. Some of them are just horrible. I've noticed that on a lot of these models. Now my client, I have about 7 of these to do, so he wants a variety of weathering on each. So some light weathering, some heavy weathering, and so we're going to do this about a medium. I have 2 light ones right now. We're going to do this in a medium. And then if you're interested, I will do a video on doing really heavy weathering on one of the lumber flats. So you get a different kind of a look on different kind of weathering that can be done on a car, or what, all that. So so this is what, as we have right now, we're going to seal this up, and then we're going to add some weathering powders. Okay, I think I figured out the lighting situation here, and I had to lower my lamp that I have that's going over the model here, so I'm able to actually looks like you actually see what's going on. Then some big bright overexposed what do you call it, framing, or whatever you want to call it. All right, my brain's not there. I'm tired. We worked. I was up almost 24 hours, and I worked all night last night, so my brain's a little bit fried at the moment. But anyway, we're gonna go with these Ames. I love these Ames powders. We're gonna go with this really, what's it called here, actually? It's called a medium earth tone, and we're gonna dab some of that on here, and we're gonna brush it. You can use a makeup. I like makeup brushes. Just look at that. Look how fine this is. You can see in the video here. It's super soft, and it's great to use for when you're working on a lot of detail parts. And just getting a nice little coat, not overdoing it, not too much. Just enough. little part here. Let the brush do the work. Always let the brush do the work. There we go. And there you have it there. It's now getting inside here is a little difficult. And so if you have a brush that's has long bristles like this, this is a great one to use to get really in there. There we go. Now it's working. And that gives a nice tone, nice earth tone of just a nice brown. And you can see with the mix with the base paint, we get a little bit of variety of brown in there. If you wanted to use rust as well, some little rust tones. But again, this is underneath the freight car, and you know, freight cars rolling on the track, you rarely see any. You see more of dirt kick up than you would see the rust, and so that's why I like just having something that's very basic like this. So you have all that here, and that's good enough. I want to do anything else with it, quite honest. Now I'm going to go inside here, and we could go a little crazy if we wanted to, you know. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more of that brown inside. I'm pretty popular on my phone right now, I guess. Okay, so we're gonna go in there. So now you see all that has a little more of a brown color. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of rust in there too, just to break up a little bit of that brown. And you just want it to blend so it really comes out. So we go on this side here, do the same thing. Add some of that brown. And you can see that paint and using dull coat really gave it a nice surface to work off, especially with these powders. I love Ames products. They can be a little on the high end sometimes, but I'm telling you, you can't go wrong with them. So now we're getting some of that rust, and you see how it just makes it pop now. Boom. That's it. That's all I need to do. Look at that. And we'll have more pictures, close detailed pictures to show you what it really looks like. So the next step is we're going to seal this, and you want to add maybe another little bit of a coat of powder over it, and then we'll start with the side of the car and the top of the car.